Turbo Boinkers in absolute blast mode as ADA is potentially preparing for its most explosive move yet. We're going to show you exact targets and what to watch for because these charts are absolutely insane. Bitcoin fell overnight to within 2% of our pullback target, but the question now is, will Bitcoin splodoosh all the way up to this next key target, or is this correction just getting started? And there is growing evidence that this cycle may not be anything like the boom and bust absolute dunkage we saw in 2017 and 2018. So what are the chances that this cycle doesn't end in a massive catastrophe and actually climbs to levels nobody thought possible? I hope you're strapped on because this is going to be a super soaked webisode. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Mr. Magoo, and I'm here to show you some next level doinkage. We're going to be covering Bitcoin as Bitcoin literally basically almost hit our exact target from the last few videos and continue to pull back. But guys, there's a very big question. Is this just the beginning of a longer correction as we've been mentioning for the past few videos? Or now in fact, have we hit a key target and we can now head up to our next level? So we're going to be discussing that. And as well, we're going to be discussing ADA as it's been absolutely exploding. It's been one of the key altcoins that has kind of separated itself, especially price action wise over the last few weeks. And yeah, the next big target for ADA is absolutely mind-boggling. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, make sure to subscribe, and if you're an absolute yum diddly umptious savage, make sure to turn on those post notifications as well so you don't miss these absolute time-sensitive updates. Some of our targets have been absolutely ridiculously insane over the past few weeks, so you don't want to miss out. And now with ADA on the move, some of these targets are going to be targets you absolutely don't want to miss. Absolutely wild, guys. So if we start off here with the DXY, something you'll notice right off the bat is that for 4 days we held at this exact top of this falling wedge, and you can see the DXY has now bounced absolutely pretty high here, back to almost 91. Just 48 hours ago we were around 89 on the DXY, and now currently we're actually testing 91. So pretty big swings for this US dollar currency index here. Very interesting. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin could have been seeing a pullback. However, the two biggest factors, F2 pull dumping and the fact that Bitcoin is just completing a normal retracement, normal correction that we've seen, and something exactly that we talked about as well. So the entire altcoin space as well is currently just kind of finding some footing here after backtesting this previous all-time high of back in 2018. You can see that here. We've just kind of been backtesting this, and again, this is a process we said could take multiple weeks, but yeah, it's looking good. We're still below the 21-day. This still ideally probably needs time to continue. However, guys, we are seeing very, very select few altcoins doing very well, and that's why we're going to be covering ADA and specific price targets, as it seems as though ADA is now within a very, very parabolic trend, and it doesn't seem to be affected as much as some of these other coins at all over the last few weeks. For example, Chainlink was extremely powerful and hitting new all-time highs just very recently, as recently as a week ago, but now you can see it's teetering right on its 50-day moving average, really looking for that critical support. We spent 4 days kind of bouncing right on this 50-day moving average. And same exact thing here for Ethereum, really just trying to find some footing on its 50-day moving average. Ultimately, we'll have to see how this shapes up, but as long as Bitcoin doesn't initiate a massive dump to around that $42,000 area, which we've been talking about, then it's very likely that Ethereum and Chainlink are kind of going to hold on these 50-day moving averages. So if we actually switch over to Bitcoin, one of the key things that we can know is that we're currently exactly below our daily VPVR point of control, which is right at about 47,000, 48,000 US dollars. Actually, at the time of recording, it's exactly where the price action is at 47.7. So also keep in mind Bitcoin is now below the 21-day moving average, which is something we've been saying for the last few updates. And yeah, since our last update, Bitcoin did exactly what we mentioned in the last few videos. But the question now is, are we going to actually get our pullback all the way down to this key level here, or was this enough to satisfy the pullback? Now, last time we did fall below the 21-day, like we pointed out here, we were in kind of a parabolic uptrend, just riding on this line, and as soon as we broke it, we tested the 21-day. We fell below it with some wicks, but we ultimately found support on daily closes. We got rejected, though, when we tried to re-enter that, and then that's when the real downtrend started. So if we look here, currently we had kind of a similar parabolic uptrend, and then we broke below it here, and this time we did not hold a 21 day for as substantially as we did back on the last pullback. So again, could that mean that we're heading down to our next target around 40K? Between 42 and 40K for Bitcoin's price. We'll have to wait and see, but being below this 21 day is a bearish sign in the short term, and especially going into the weekend. You never know, weekend price action's a little bit crazy. I don't think this pullback is done just yet. We have not had any confirmations in my book, guys. Remember yesterday we said 48 to 52 is just an absolutely normal trading range for Bitcoin, and we said if we break below this level, we were going to go down to our next leg, which is right about 46,000 US dollars, and that's basically in the short term where we have bottomed. We wicked all the way down to about 44, but we had significant closes right around 46 and 45, which was this key field level. But now we're just battling these very short-term moving averages, and if we fail here and another retest of this, I definitely think that it is possible we could actually have that last final push down to about 42,000. Really, the range I'm looking at is between 40 to 42,000 US dollars. Anywhere in there where I think we might get a quick wick. But again, this could play out over a few days. This isn't guaranteed to happen within the next 24 hours. But yeah, we are unable so far to hold any of the key short-term moving averages. Even on the, obviously it's on the 4 hour as well. We're not above any of these key moving averages. Same story for the 6 hour. In fact, we just got a bearish cross here on the 6 hour. There is very slight bullish divergence here with the RSI and Bitcoin's price on the 6 hour chart, but I don't put a lot of weight into that just yet. Overall, this momentum is still to the downside, and that's what I've been saying for a few days. The trend is your friend, and this trend, as I said yesterday, in my opinion, is now to the downside. So until we would break out of this downward trend, then we're going to continue probably setting lower lows here. And especially as long as we're below the 21 day, then that is not a bullish sign for Bitcoin in the short term. Now, if we switch to ADA, guys, this is absolutely insane. So if we go back to just the last few weeks, ADA really started taking off the very end of 2020, the last few weeks of 2020, going from 10 cents, 14 cents, and now it's currently sitting $1 above that, around $1.18. So significantly higher. And there is a few structures that we've seen playing out for ADA over the past few months on this USD pairing, kind of just a consolidation, whether it's a rising wedge or just a symmetrical triangle type pattern. We have this consolidation and then pretty big break. Consolidation and then pretty big break. And now we've kind of been in this consolidation period for the past 3 weeks also. And more importantly, usually on these parabolic run-ups, as these runs get more and more parabolic, before the last major parabolic rally of one of these runs, that's usually when it's the most explosive, and it can happen quicker than the previous consolidation. So we had this consolidation breakout, this consolidation breakout, and now we're in our third consolidation. And just from my experience and from how these parabolic curves usually go, this will probably be the shortest consolidation and potentially one of the highest breakouts. So the 1.618 is a key level to look for when we look at these breakouts too, especially these last few breakouts. A lot of these targets were hit on these fib sequences. This 1.618 sequence would be right around $1.85, with the absolute height of this parabolic rally being around almost $3, right under $3. Now I think that's possible if this would get as explosive as it possibly could be, but I think a really realistic target for ADA over the next week, if things get very bullish, is up to that 1.618, right around $1.85 for ADA. So we need a confirmation of that. We're currently kind of just riding on this parabolic trend, just testing the previous high from exactly a week ago. You can see we're just kind of sitting below the 1.272 fib level right here. We found support on the 1 right here, and then there were obvious some resistances and supports going forward. But basically, as you can see, just looking at this chart, a lot of these fib levels, obviously there's some resistance support at each one of them. And as soon as we break this 272, I do think it's likely. First, obviously, we're going to come up to the 1.414, which is around $1.50. But I do think it is likely that this parabolic trend could push us all the way up to the 1.618, which again is a little under, about 15 cents under $2. So again, ADA has incredible momentum right now. It looks much more bullish than a lot of these altcoins. Remember, for example, Chainlink and Ethereum both just fighting to stay above their 50-day moving averages. Meanwhile, ADA is having no issue bouncing off of its 21-day. So very much more bullish in the short term, and I think a little under $2, around that $1.85 target for ADA in the short term, is absolutely realistic. And as well, guys, last week, Bitcoin's first ETF in North America was launched just a week ago, and it now has over $590 million in assets under management, which is absolutely insane. insane. So this ETF was the first physically settled Bitcoin ETF to win approval and began trading in Canada last week. It now gives investors a direct way to invest in Bitcoin relative to other closed-end funds like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and a less direct way than outright owning Bitcoin through an individual wallet. So a lot of people want to get exposure to this, to Bitcoin, but they haven't really wanted to go through the hoops of opening up accounts or anything like that, opening up wallets and learning how to send through wallets, which again is pretty simple, but some people don't want to learn that. Having the ETF option, I think, has been the holy grail out there, and we're happy to have it trading, and we're seeing some of the results of that pent-up demand. It's absolutely exploding. And now as well, one of the fundamental reasons this is so much different than 2017 and 2018, where we have the potential for the first ever Bitcoin supercycle. And all that means is that massive pumpage without very prolonged 2 to 3 year bear markets afterwards, like we saw in 2018, 2019, and kind of the beginning of 2020. The similar surge in interest in crypto also revealed Coinbase's Thursday filing with the SEC to go public via a NASDAQ listing. Coinbase revealed its institutional trading volumes nearly tripled from 2019 to 2020, up to 120 billion, and this is huge. Crypto advocates point to that institutional exuberance and purchases from publicly traded companies like Square and Tesla as proof that this Bitcoin rally is not like what happened in 2017 and 2018, after it fell 85% from its all-time high at the time. So there are some pros and cons to all of this, but basically all of this does open up the door for the possibility that this cycle is going to be vastly different than every other cycle. Think about it. Every other cycle was primarily based on retail. This is the first cycle that has massive institutional interest. And if we're having ETFs now, we're having all these different options, we're having high net worth individuals and billionaires and hedge funds get into crypto. If there's ever a time where Bitcoin will diverge from previous cycles, this is fundamentally a massive reason why that could happen. And again, I just think it's the very, very beginning of all of this, guys. This Coinbase filing is going to be pretty exciting. I think some of these traditional investors actually might find that enticing to be invested in as well. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Make sure to leave your comment below to enter for hardware wallet equivalent in BTC or access to T4. And yeah, if you're interested in trading, make sure to take advantage of our Bitcoin, Femex, and Bybit deposit links below. Never trade more than you're willing to lose. And that's it for me. Bye-bye.